Video production is dead. And believe me, I really wish that weren't the case because I've been making a living off of this for the past 10 years. But something happened recently that completely changed the way that I think about this kind of work. And before you ask, no, this video is not about AI, although the pace at which AI is improving should be scaring you, whether or not you're a video creator. So what led me to this conclusion? There was this recent project that I was hired for this global environmental protection agency that really shifted the way that I think about video production. This was a project about AI actually, and its environmental impact. It was narrated by content creator Ko-Hyun Lee from the channel J&K Love It. So she and her partner Justin have a ton of thought-provoking content on their channels. So what really stood out to me this time was that before, as a video producer, it's assumed that the value that you add is more technical stuff, right? Directing, lighting, editing. But when we actually got into the details of the project, the client was like, yeah, you don't have to worry about any of the shooting. We're going to have the content creator handle that. So Justin and Ko-Hyun, they shot the project, and on my end, I really just gave them some very, very minimal direction. This is not to say that I didn't actually do anything on the project, because I did a ton of different things on this project. It's just that a lot of them in the past didn't fall under the realm of what you would traditionally think of as video production. It was more about things like knowing how to work with the client, knowing how to develop a script with them collaboratively, knowing how to structure a workflow that involved dozens of people from across the globe, and also at the very end, actually executing the editing on a very, very tight timeline. So before you're like,
they basically just hired you as a producer, editor, there's technical skills involved. Why are you saying that video production is dead?
Hold up. So I'm saying this because for both J&K and myself, the reason that we got hired on this project was not because of our technical skills. In fact, I would say that technical filmmaking skills were probably the least important factor in the brand deciding to work with us on this project. It was really about everything else that we brought to the table. On J&K's end, it's about who they are as people, right? It's about their interests. It's about their ability to synthesize and communicate ideas that are important to them. Like, this is stuff that they care about even if they weren't getting paid to do it. Don't get me wrong, the footage that they shot, technically, like, it looked great. But in this day and age, having that technically proficient footage, that's basically just getting your foot in the door. Before I offend anyone else in the industry here, yeah, let me just preface this by saying that a lot of what I'm gonna say here, it doesn't really apply to higher end filmmaking, right? Commercial, narrative. Like, for those kinds of areas, yes, it does require a highly specific skill set. But for the vast majority of video creators who work in things like brand content and short form content, your edge is no longer going to be just the technical skills that you bring to the project. Like in lifestyle content, for example, basically everybody I know that's successful in that area, they can do a lot more than just point a camera and shoot and string up a sequence in Premiere. Everybody I know that's successful in that particular niche, they're actually living the lifestyles of the brands that they work for. They're gonna have the social media presence and the aesthetic that resonates with that particular brand or tribe. So going back to the case study, when we actually finished with the production of the video, both myself and the client, we were all pretty happy with the way it looked. But when we got to the actual social media rollout, this is the part where it surprised all of us. Both the brand and J&K, they rolled out the video on their own social media channels, and the brand used my professional version, and J&K created a quick reel style video and rolled it out on their Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. The brand basically received their usual engagement, tens of thousands of views across their YouTube and LinkedIn, a few thousand likes, and pretty good engagement on Instagram. But here's where it gets interesting. So while the brand has about 3.9 million followers on Instagram, J&K Love It only has about 16.3 thousand. But when we look at the metrics that J&K shared with us from Instagram, their short video vastly outperformed the brand, with 1.2 million views, 111,000 likes, and literally a year of watch time across all audiences. No paid boost, no marketing team, and no collaborative post tag to piggyback on the brand's native following. Damn. So after all of that, you might be asking, what is the takeaway from all of this? Should we as creators just abandon all of the technical skills that we've worked so hard to develop over the years and basically just make TikToks in CapCut all day, hoping that the algorithm picks one of them up? No, I don't think so. If you're a brand, you should still definitely be investing in high quality video production just to maintain your brand's reputation. But short form and collaborations with authentic creators are becoming more and more important. And more, these small creators, they're often outperforming the brands themselves, as we saw in the case of J&K. For video creators, that doesn't mean that you should scrap your entire skill set and just focus on creating hype. Technical mastery, it's still really important, but now it's more like the prerequisite rather than the main course. You hear those anecdotes about your client's nephew that can probably shoot the video better than you can. And there's some truth to that, right? Because that's actually who you're competing with out there if the only thing that you bring to the table is your technical skills. So we're definitely at a point in this where the human aspect of the creator, your personality, the way that you communicate, the way that you work with clients, the values that you actually care about, these are becoming more and more important. And your technical skills are basically just what gets your foot in the door. So back to my beginning point. No, video production is not literally dead, but the version of it that relied on technical mastery alone, like for most creators, that version is definitely dead and gone. What matters even more and more now is, what are you trying to communicate? What are you trying to express? What do you want to bring more attention to? Because for us as video creators, what exactly are we doing? We scale attention. But before you start thinking about scaling, you should probably make sure that you have something that's worth scaling in the first place.